Ikedi was a very beautiful and smart girl who was born in a slum village in Onitsha. After her father's death, the small, fragile life her family had built fell apart. Her father was a wheelbarrow pusher before his death. The family found out from neighbors who had seen the accident. A truck carrying cement had run him off the road, and he had fallen, lifeless, into the gutter. Her mother was a woman of iron will, but even she couldn't shield her children from the brutal reality of their situation. With 6 mouths to feed, her mother threw herself into hawking with renewed desperation. Fruit season had come again, and Eka's mother was back in the heat, hawking mangoes and bananas under the merciless, scorching sun along Upper Iweka Road. Eka's siblings joined her, the younger ones darting through the streets, calling out to passers-by, hoping to earn just a little bit more to fill their empty bellies. But Eka had always been different. She detested the life she had. She wanted a different life. Hawking along the road was what she had never imagined herself running. It was too shameful for her. She watched her mother and siblings work with tired eyes, their skin baked by the sun, their fingers rough and old, and vowed she would never join them. She dreamed of escaping, of living a life so far removed from this world that she would never look back. In a luxurious home with air conditioning and cars, she envied children from such homes. Each time she saw such people, her first impulse was always to run towards them, begging them to adopt her as their child. But she knew that no one would agree to do it. Even if it could happen anywhere, that place wouldn't be Onitsha. One night, Eka and her siblings fought over leftover food. Her mother supported her siblings. She scolded Eka for her laziness, asking her why she would always be at home waiting for them to work so that she would eat. The woman was furious, and Eka replied in a high tone. She asked her mother why she would give birth if she knew that she couldn't cater for them. Her mother landed her a thunderous slap of her age. The next day, Eka made her decision. She would leave. She'd find her way to Lagos, where her dreams would come true. She could almost see herself there, dressed in beautiful clothes, walking through clean streets lined with tall buildings. People in Lagos, she told herself, were more civilized, had more money and power. There, she could become someone else, someone worth knowing. The next morning, she packed her things, said a silent goodbye to her mother and siblings, and left for the city. She didn't have a plan, but she had something stronger, a fierce determination to change her fate. Eka's first steps into Lagos felt like stepping into another world. She had never seen so many luxurious cars, so many people dressed in fine clothes, looking like they had somewhere important to be. The whole of Onitsha felt like a slum to her, despite the fact that she knew some beautiful places in Onitsha. She made her way to the address her friend Kemi had given her. Kemi had left the slum years before, and Eka had always envied her. Now, she would be living that life too. But Kemi's room wasn't what Eka had imagined. It was a small, windowless space with a worn-out mattress in one corner and a single chair pushed against the wall. The floor was bare concrete, cold underfoot, and the air smelled faintly of mold. Eka's heart sank, but she reminded herself that this was only temporary. She hadn't come this far to let a tiny room discourage her. Kemi welcomed her with open arms, asked her about what was happening in Onitsha, about the Agboros at Upper Iweka. They spent the evening catching up, sharing stories of home, and Eka felt a strange comfort in Kemi's presence. But when Kemi turned to her, a serious look on her face, Eka felt a pang of unease. "Eka, you know this city is tough," Kemi said, her voice barely more than a whisper. "It chews people up and spits them out. Don't let it fool you. Many of them are living fake lives. You won't know until you get closer to them." Eka nodded, but inside, that was the kind of life she wanted, a fake life. She was determined to fake it until it became reality. She hadn't come here to fail. She was going to make it, no matter what it took. Over the next few days, Eka began her search for work. She wandered the city, moving from one company to the next, filling out applications, hoping for an opportunity. Rejection upon rejection poured in because she wasn't a graduate, but she didn't let it deter her. Eka instantly made up her mind to use what she had to get what she wanted. Her smartness paved the way. Finally, her persistence paid off. She landed a job as a marketer at a large corporation. The pay was low at first, but Eka was happy. She had taken her first step, however small, toward the life she wanted. But even as she celebrated, a nagging thought tugged at her mind. She wanted more. She wanted the life she had seen on social media, the type some of the girls in her place of work had, the life she had left the slum to find. She didn't just want to work in Lagos, she wanted to own it. Ekede hated her name so much, even in Onitsha, because mostly all the maids in Nollywood movies answered that name. Her arrival to Lagos made her understand that it didn't end in movies, it did also exist in real life. After a long consideration, she arrived at Cindy. Everyone in that company knew Cindy, but not Ekede. Ekede became dead and buried. One evening, she lay down alone in her bed, staring at the photos on her social media feed. Each image was a reminder of the life she craved. Beautiful people in luxurious clothes, lounging by pools, driving fancy cars, living a life she had only ever dreamed of. Women with expensive hairs, bone-straight hairs, others with designer shoes and bags. People on vacation, living what she considered to be a perfect life. She felt depressed. She wanted it all, and she knew she wouldn't be satisfied until she had it. She had already changed her skin color with cream, but it wasn't enough. That night, a new idea took hold of her. She remembered what her friends said on that day. They are all living fake lives. Cindy smiled, her joy spreading across her face. If she couldn't afford the life she wanted, she would find a way to make people believe she already had it. She stood up, went over to the place she kept her bag. All the clothes there looked like rags to her. They were not good to showcase on social media. Her shoes were also the same thing. She searched for the people selling the best luxurious clothes, hairs, shoes, and bags online. She found them, and they told her how much it would cost her if she wanted to rent any of their items. Cindy loved the prices the same way she loved the items. She thanked her God that Kemi wasn't around to dissuade her. So she promised to get back to them at the end of the month. She spent her first salary on renting a designer dress, bone-straight hair, a pair of shoes that sparkled, and a bag she could never dream of owning. She went to a beautiful studio, took pictures with them, the shoes, the dress, the bag, and hair one after the other. She posted it both on her IG handle and Facebook with the caption, "Cindy Beauty, the lioness. Let this girl pamper herself small, jour." Her phone buzzed with notifications, comments, likes, and love reactions pouring in from people she'd never met, all of them in awe of her wealth, her beauty, and her composure. Online palm wine tappers were tapping, "I tap from your blessings. May your God also remember me." Online beggars pleaded for her to bless them with money. Some narrated their unending, sorrowful stories. Men screamed that she was the most beautiful girl on the internet, trooping into her inbox like soldier ants demanding for her number and her pictures. People started using her as a case study, as one of the girls that was making it big. Her first step made her fulfilled. It was exactly what she wanted. As she lay in bed that night, staring at her phone, she felt a happiness she hadn't expected. This was just the beginning. She could already see the path before her, and she was determined to see it to the end. Some of the people she admired on social media left a comment on the post. Before drifting off to sleep, she made another post with only the picture of the hair and the shoe, with the caption, "Tell me how much I got this hair, the vendor I got it from, and win 20K. The next morning, Cindy woke up and saw thousands of comments and reactions on that post. That was a post she made around 12 a.m., and before 7 a.m., it had gathered numerous people on her page, people that wanted the money. But she surprised them all by saying that no one got the real answer and also asked them to pray to be lucky next time. Cindy's new lifestyle took root quickly. She began renting clothes, shoes, bags, and occasionally, even a car, whenever she was invited to a big party. Lagos was a place known for parties. She would drive around the city in her rented car, taking photos outside luxury stores, sitting in expensive cafes, and posing with her new items as though they were her own. She learned to tag popular brands, knowing that people would see her posts and be impressed. She used every trick she could think of to build her following: filters, hashtags, clever captions that hinted at her hard work, and success. She was a smart young lady. Her colleagues at the office weren't surprised because that was the real lives of some of them. But Cindy's fake life also worked for her, in her office. It connected her with the rich girls and boys in the office. Angel was one of her colleagues and also a very rich girl from a wealthy background. Cindy envied her. She wished she was the one. Cindy and Angel were best friends in the office. She also made sure she wore expensive things to the office: clothes, shoes, bags, hair, and perfume. Those types that Angel wore all the time. One day, Kemi went over to Cindy's office to give her a key. She told them that she was looking for a kite, but no one knew who a kite was. "There is no such name here?" one of the people she asked said. Kemi's number was off. She stood there for a while and left dejectedly. Cindy slept in a hotel that day. Coming back after work, she met their door locked. It had never happened before. Kemi was always at home before her. She stood there tirelessly, yawning. Hunger dealt with her in the office. She picked up her phone from her bag and dialed Kemi's line. Her heart was boiling in anger, but Kemi's first outburst shocked her. "I hope you are happy standing outside. Better look for where to sleep because I'm not coming back today. And you didn't bother to bring the key for me or hide it somewhere in the house. I came to the place of your work, the place you told me you are working. I spent hours there, but the security man said that he doesn't know you, that there's no one answering a kite in the office." Cindy angrily hung up on her. The next day, Kemi narrated everything to Cindy, and Cindy burst out laughing. "I have told you. Stop calling, Eka. My name is now Cindy. See what your stubbornness did to me. I spent the little money I had on paying for a hotel bill." Kemi laughed until tears flowed down from her eyes. "Fake life is costly," Kemi said, and burst out laughing again. "Very soon it will pay off," Cindy said, grinding from ear to ear. She showed Kemi her new Facebook page and IG handle. Kemi, after reading about 2 of her posts, screamed, "Ika, where did you get all these from?" Point of corrections, I am not Ika, I am Cindy. Cindy Beauty. Her friends stared at her, at the kind of captions her posts had. In one of them she wrote, "Daddy's little girl with her birthday gift." Then she posed in a car. Another one she wrote, "I got this for my 20th birthday." Then another car. Eka, Cindy, how did you do all these? I mean, who gave you a car to drive? Where are the bags, shoes, and wigs you have in those pictures? Cindy laughed out loud. "Which wig and shoes? Who dash monkey bananas?" I returned them immediately after snapping with them. This is what they called social media packing. Relax. Very soon this baby girl would be out of here. Cindy spun around, laughing. "And the cars, where did you get them from?" Kemi asked. "Babe girl, I rented everything in that place. Including my name, I mean everything. I paid 200,000 naira in order to drive the car around for 2 hours. 200 what, Eka? Cindy, why is it hard for you to call me Cindy?" Cindy angrily cut in. Cindy explained the reason why she was doing all that. She said that that was the only thing that would connect her to the riches. Kemi, her friend, wasn't in support of such a life. She tried to make her see things differently. She told her that she could use the money for something instead of renting cars, bags, shoes, dresses, and cars. But her advice to Cindy was like pouring water on a rock. Each post brought more likes, more comments, and a growing number of followers. People admired her, envied her, and some even idolized her. She became a role model to many Facebook users. Many girls called her ma'am, asking her for life hacks. Strangers messaged her daily, asking for tips on how to achieve her lifestyle. She became the image of success for people who wanted to believe in the illusion of effortless luxury. Her online warriors increased tremendously, those fighting for her. Where did you get all these from? Or are you one of the Ashawo girls pretending that you have work? All these hookup girls won't allow us to breathe on the internet, a man commented on one of her posts. Her warriors fought the man, dragged him until they were nothing to drag again. They cursed him, cursed his family, both born and unborn. They said that poverty had eaten up his brain, and that was why he commented rubbish. Some asked him why he never asked the same questions when he saw poor people, like asking them where they got poverty from. Why was it that when a girl makes money, people would attribute it to Ashawo work? Was it only a hookup that paid money? His comments and the reactions under it infuriated them and women. They brought out the man's pictures, tagged him as a jealous and envious man. This particular post brought Cindy's page to limelight. Cindy's days were long, filled with grueling hours at her job, and her nights were spent planning her next post, her next look, her next story to keep up the facade. Like her friend had said, fake life is expensive. She barely had enough money to pay her rent, let alone afford the lifestyle she showed online. Most nights, she lay in her small room, surrounded by cheap noodles and her phone, exhausted but exhilarated. She had started to attend big parties with people that mattered. That was all she wanted, an avenue to meet the rich boys and men. In one of her invitations, she was asked to come with someone. So Cindy decided to go with her friend Kemi to show her the luxurious life she was asking her to leave by. Perhaps that would stop Kemi from seeing her as an imposter. Cindy pooled together what little money she had and also collected from her mother. She rented new outfits and borrowed a car to drive to the event. The retreat was held at an exclusive resort, Echo Hotel. It was everything she had ever dreamed of, and as she stepped through the gates with her friend, she felt a sense of pride. She had finally made it. Kemi trailed after her, looking beautiful and luxurious in the outfit Cindy rented for her. But she wasn't comfortable. The clothes hugged her body so tight, choking her. As they mingled with the other influencers, Kemi began to feel out of place. She felt like everyone knew her, knew who she was. The way some of the other guests looked at her seemed suspicious. They were surrounded by people who lived the life Cindy had only pretended to have, and Kemi felt a growing sense of unease. She could feel the illusion slipping away, and she wondered how long she could keep it up. She tried to avoid their gaze, but Ake was busy moving from this side to that side. She watched her friend in awe, wondering how comfortable she was living a fake life. It was an event where every influencer was expected to show up in their best, showcasing their wealth and style. Cindy prepared carefully, determined to leave a lasting impression, to make friends and connect with people. She left Kemi by the side, hugging and exchanging pleasantries with people. One of the more prominent influencers, a woman known for her sharp wit and keen eye, approached Kemi. Instantly, Kemi felt her heart jumping down her stomach. She remembered what her friend had said to her. "Don't disgrace me over there. Respect yourself when people want to talk to you. Act like you have it. No one is going to follow us back here." So Kemi adjusted her dress and stood firmly. "Hi," she said with a sly smile. "My name is Amikan. I am a hair vendor." "My name is Kemi," Kemi smiled. She is about to belong. "What exactly is your occupation? Tell me your IG handle. Let's follow each other." Kemi stared confused. How could she tell the woman her occupation, that she was an ordinary cleaner, a cleaner who is supposed to be her worker, not her party mate? How could she even say it? It would be embarrassing. It felt like all her senses left her at that moment, and she couldn't formulate the best lies to tell. Kemi felt her heart race, her mind scrambling for a response. She glanced at Cindy and thanked God both their eyes locked. Kemi felt the crowd around her go silent, watching the exchange with interest. She felt a wave of panic rise within her, her hands trembling as she watched Cindy approach. Desperate to salvage the situation, Cindy stepped forward, trying to laugh it off. "My friend just likes to keep her personal life private. Not everything has to be out there, you know? She also doesn't like social media, so she is not in any of them." The woman raised an eyebrow, a disapproving smile playing on her lips. Of course. But in this world, how does your friend live without social media? I can't believe that someone like your friend still exists in this century. Help me tell her. I have been telling her the same thing, but she chose to live her life offline. It is one of the reasons I brought her with me. Perhaps after tonight, she will change her decision. Cindy chuckled, winked at Kemi. She has to. She needs to change it. The world is changing. Everything is now about social media. How could one survive in this age without social media? The woman teased Kemi. "I don't know." Cindy and the woman followed each other on their social media pages immediately. Cindy and Kemi left the party in silence, the weight of their deception pressing down on them like a heavy burden. Kemi kept on thinking of the life her friend had built, the fantasy she had crafted so carefully, and for the first time, she was forced to confront her. That night, as they lay in their mattress on the concert floor, Kemi turned to Cindy. "Do you ever think about just stopping? Letting go of the act?" Kemi asked. Cindy was silent for a moment before she answered. Sometimes. But if I stop, what do I have left? If I am not this, then what am I? I will stop when I hit the jackpot. Give me some time and I will change our story. We will leave this place for a better place. Kemi sighed, staring at the floor. What do you really have to lose? You have been pretending for so long, but none of it is real. I think you should stop now. Use the little money you have for something else instead of renting all these things. Just imagine it. We took the car back and came back with KK. Everything we wore to that party, everything was rented. This is not good, Kemi breathed out gently. I said that everything would be fine. Kemi, give me sometimes. This is not right. It is not right, and I must tell you the truth, Kemi said and shut her eyes. Cindy's obsession with her online image grew stronger, consuming her thoughts and filling her dreams. She began to drift away from Kemi, who had started to look at her with a mixture of concern and pity. Kemi had always been a realist, and watching Cindy's transformation left her unsettled. Cindy no longer comes home every night. At times, she spent the whole month outside with her rich friends and connections. Kemi had seen it on her Facebook page where she posted a video with the caption, "Baby girl is on vacation in Dubai, making money and having a pleasant life." Kemi hissed at the caption. Which money? She was the only one that knew that Cindy had no money? The only one that knew her very well. Cindy didn't tell her about the vacation or some of the places she went to with her friends, but Kemi knew that everything was an illusion. They were all lies, and one day, the monster she created would come back to fight her. It would only take time. One evening, as Cindy was scrolling through her latest posts, Kemi confronted her. Eka, what are you doing? Kemi asked, her voice tense. All these pictures, this isn't real. You're living a lie. Cindy looked up, her expression defiant. First of all, stop calling me Eka. Who cares if it's real or not? People believe it, and that's all that matters. I'm making a name for myself. Kemi shook her head, frustration clear on her face. You're just digging yourself deeper into a hole. This isn't sustainable. You're pretending to be someone you're not, and one day it's all going to come crashing down. Kemi, can I breathe for a second? No, Eka, you won't. How can you be comfortable in this fake life? How can you collect money all the time from your mother, making her believe that you are facing hardship while you use the little ones you have chasing after the wind, chasing after shadow? I am your friend, and I must tell you the truth. Kemi, hold your truth, please. Cindy sprang up. I don't want to hear it, not now. You have to hear it. The truth must be told. Do you even think about your poor mother? You have not visited her since 3 years ago when you came to Lagos. How could you have turned into something like this? Kemi let out a derisive laughter. I am sure your siblings won't even recognize you if they see you on the road. Your name is no longer your name. The color of your skin has already changed. You now look like Oyibo people. They wouldn't also believe that the one always crying on the phone begging for money is the same person living a luxurious life on the internet. Isn't this laughable? It is right? Kemi paced around the room angrily. She knew that if she was the one in her friend's situation, her mother would never send money to her. Not when she had left the house without her support. Cindy's mother was a good woman. Then she wondered how comfortable it was for Cindy to extort money from her mother. Money the poor woman made after hawking under the scorching sun. Kemi came to conclusions that her friend was a monster, devil without conscience. Cindy dismissed Kemi's warnings, shrugging her off with a wave of her hand. She couldn't let anyone, not even her best friend, ruin the fantasy she had worked so hard to build. She had seen a taste of the life she wanted, and nothing would stand in her way. Going back to Onitsha would only happen when she made it big. As Cindy's following grew, so did her need to keep up appearances. The more likes and comments she received, the more she craved the validation they brought. Soon, she was spending nearly every bit of her salary on maintaining her online image. The adoration of her followers, the envy they felt for her supposed wealth, it had become like a drug, so intoxicated. Cindy's online presence was booming, and brands began reaching out to her, hoping she could promote their products. She was finally getting noticed. She became an influencer of so many brands, an online celebrity. But it was never enough. She wanted more. More attention, more admiration, more proof that she had made it, even if it was only on a screen. Then, one day, a message changed everything. A man named Daniel slid into her DMs. His profile was every bit as glamorous as hers. Photos of him standing in front of an airplane in the airport, posing with expensive cars, dining in five-star restaurants. He was everything Cindy dreamed of, a reflection of the life she wanted. His well-groomed beard plastered on his even chocolate color face. Cindy's heart raced as she read his message. It was short and direct, an invitation to chat, but she felt an immediate connection. Here was someone who understood the world she had built for herself, someone who lived the same kind of life, or so she thought. They began talking every day, sharing stories about their lifestyles, bonding over their love of luxury and the thrill of the life they portrayed online. With Daniel, Cindy felt a kinship, a validation of everything she had been working towards. She started imagining a future with him, a life where they could continue to build their empire of illusion together. Cindy and Daniel's relationship grew quickly, fueled by their shared passion for social media fame and the carefully curated images of wealth they each projected. They would spend hours on the phone, discussing plans for travel, expensive vacations, and the big dreams they had for their future. Daniel painted a picture of himself as a young entrepreneur, hinting at businesses he was supposedly running, investments he was making. Cindy, in turn, spoke of her high-profile job, her rich father. Cindy started visiting Daniel every weekend, spending most of her Sunday outing with him. She loved his apartment. It was exactly what she had dreamt of. The well-decorated sitting room, well-equipped kitchen with luxurious utensils. The first thing that caught Cindy's eyes inside the kitchen was 2 air conditioners mounted on the walls. Cindy stared agape. How could people have this kind of money, to the extent of putting AC in the kitchen? Then she realized who she said she was. According to her fake life, those things were meant to be nothing to her. Daniel once met her staring at the deep freezer in the kitchen. He was surprised, but when he asked Cindy, she said that the freezer reminded her of the one she gave to her mother's cook a long time ago. Her answer gave Daniel great hope. At least she was a giver, and that made his move more beautiful. For the 2 consecutive times that Daniel had visited Cindy's house, he wasn't aware that the house didn't belong to Cindy. Cindy was not only faking her life, she was also smart and intelligent. Each time Daniel said that he would be visiting, Cindy would go to Angel's house. As women helping women, Angel never complained, although she didn't know who Cindy was in reality. Cindy knew every part of the house. She made use of everything in the freezer as if they were her own. Cindy told Daniel that Angel was a girl she was helping, a girl from her village. If she can help people like this, helping me to stand won't be a problem, Daniel reasoned. Their conversations were filled with fantasies of a life they each pretended to live. But as much as they hoped to build each other up, the truth was that both of them were hiding in plain sight. Neither of them had any real wealth or success. Behind Daniel's polished photos were similar struggles: debts, borrowing, and renting for appearances. He, too, was caught in the trap of his own creation, playing a part for an audience that demanded more with every post. Eka and Daniel continued to see each other, and with each encounter, they both maintained their facades, each one unknowingly fooling the other. They spent time at luxury locations, snapping photos to add to their growing collection of perfect moments, feeding the fantasy they had each created. Their relationship, built on pretense, was nonetheless filled with a kind of affection, a mutual understanding that neither could fully express. They were both prisoners of the worlds they had created, and together they found a strange comfort in that shared lie. One evening, after weeks of talking, Daniel proposed that they meet in person. He had arranged for them to meet at a luxurious restaurant in the city, a place known for attracting celebrities and wealthy elites. Cindy's heart pounded with excitement and fear. She knew she couldn't back out now, but she also knew she had to maintain the illusion. Kemi told her to reveal the truth, but the truth would spoil things for her. She spent the last of her money renting a designer dress, a pair of sparkling heels, a diamond necklace, and a nice car. She arrived at the restaurant, a place she'd only ever seen in magazines, and took a deep breath before stepping inside. The atmosphere was electric, the low hum of voices, the soft clinking of glasses, the scent of expensive perfumes filling the air. This was where she belonged, she told herself. She had finally made it. When she saw Daniel, her heart skipped a beat. He looked sharp, confident, dressed in an impeccably tailored suit. For a moment, she allowed herself to believe that maybe, just maybe, this was real. They shared a meal, talking about the future, about the things they wanted to achieve. The chemistry between them was undeniable, and as the evening drew to a close, Daniel took her hand, gazing into her eyes with a look that made her believe that her fantasies had finally come true. "Cindy, I know we haven't been together long, but I feel like I've known you forever. You are the woman my heart craves for. I think we should take the next step. Let's get married." Cindy's heart skipped a beat. This was it, the moment she had been waiting for. She imagined the life they would build together, the money, the fame, numerous vacations, the endless stream of photos that would cement their status as a power couple. The way her followers would increase. Without hesitation, she nodded, a tear sliding down her cheek as she accepted his proposal. But beneath her joy, a small, Kemi's voice nagged at her. She pushed it aside, convincing herself that this was her ticket to the life she'd always wanted. Little did she know, Daniel was suppressing the same voice, clinging to the hope that his dreams would finally come true. As they walked out of the restaurant, Cindy felt a strange pang of unease. She knew her life was a lie, but she hadn't anticipated how much it would hurt to keep up the charade, especially now, standing beside someone who seemed so genuine. Who was about to become her husband. The truth would be revealed after marriage, she told herself. Kemi jumped up and screamed when Cindy showed her the diamond ring. It was really a joyful moment for both friends. But as they were jumping, something clicked Kemi's mind and her face grew sad. "What are you going to do now?" Kemi asked. "Marry him, of course. See what you are asking," Cindy replied. "How would you marry him? Who is going to receive your bride price?" Cindy had not thought about that one. It had never crossed her mind. All she wanted was to settle down with Daniel. While she was trying to put things together, Kemi asked her another question. "Are you even sure your mother would approve this marriage? Daniel is a Yoruba man, and why won't she approve it? She herself is from Akwa Ibom State, and my father is Igbo man." Cindy cut in sharply. "You are right. I think you better tell him the truth now. There's no way to pull this one true." Cindy clicked her tongue and sprawled out on the mattress. Kemi would never allow someone's joy to be complete. She had just cut her happiness short. Cindy didn't sleep that night. Her thoughts wandered in many places. When she drifted off, she saw Daniel pushing her out of his house, calling her a liar. In that dream, she wept bitterly. She begged Daniel to take her back, but he refused. He told her that he would never share his house with someone he doesn't know very well, that he knew Cindy, not Ekite. Cindy jerked off the mattress, sweating profusely. "What is it?" Kemi questioned curiously. "It was a dream," Cindy exhaled heavily. "What's the dream all about?" Kemi asked. "I think I told Daniel the truth in the dream, and he pushed me out of his house. The only thing I can remember now is that I saw myself weeping under the rain. I was drenched by both rain and tears. See, Kemi, I won't tell him anything. I will look for a way out of this." Cindy was at the salon to make her hair when she overheard two ladies talking about social media life and content. The topic interested her so much, she moved closer to eavesdropping. One of the ladies laughed and clapped her hands. "Who would believe that we make hair in this kind of salon?" the lady said. She and her friend laughed in unison. Cindy pinched herself. "It seems like I have seen my type," she thought inwardly. The two ladies talked about how most of the things on the internet were fake, including some people's marriage. They talked about how poor people advise the rich people on the internet on how to make money or ways to make money. How single ladies would always claim that their husbands would never treat them badly. How all the married women on the internet seemed to have a perfect marriage except those with Hide My ID. As they were talking, Cindy moved to join them. It was a saloon, and the saloon was another place of gossip. Their conversation became interesting, and Cindy divulged her own fake life. She told them how she had tried to keep to it, but everything was about to fail. One of the ladies told her that every sickness had medicine and her own wasn't even a big one. In Lagos, everything is possible. It is going to cost you money, but you will get what you want. One of the ladies said. How? Cindy asked, puzzled. What you are looking for is some people's work in Lagos. You will pay them, and they will come and represent your family. You will give them the money they will spray on you that day. It will cost money, but you will surely get what you want. Are you sure? Cindy questioned. I am sure. It is everywhere. That's the kind of thing people do in some burial, especially when they know that the dead person has no one to cry for him or her. They will pay a professional to cry for the person. Which one is professional crying again? Stay there now. This is Lagos. If you are not smart, you will be in the river and soap will enter your eyes. Shine your eyes well, well. The next day, Cindy and the lady went to arrange things with her fake family. She rented a nice car for them. They paid for a very good apartment where they would stay and collect her bride price. Cindy gave them money, dollars to spray on her. On their way home, her friend gave her advice to get pregnant as soon as possible. It would be easier for her if she was pregnant. Daniel won't throw her away if he finds out about the truth. But even if he did throw her out, that child in her womb would be another way of collecting money from him. Cindy gave it a thought and nodded her head. The advice was so perfect, she must carry it out. The wedding happened on the second day of November 2020. It was a luxurious wedding. Social media influencer and admirer everywhere, Cindy's co-workers and friends. They made one of the best decorations in a very beautiful hall. Cindy rented a beautiful wedding dress, and Daniel wore a black sparkling suite. It was it was a celebrity wedding. Cindy didn't want to invite her mother and her siblings. Kemi was furious and puzzled. How could you do a wedding without your family? Kemi preached and preached until Cindy invited them. Though not as her family, but as a quest. Are you doing white wedding before traditional marriage and paying bride price? Cindy's mother asked. Mama, my husband will do all that after the white wedding, Cindy said. What the poor woman didn't know was that the bride price had already been paid. Cindy's mother prepared very well for the wedding. She wished that the wedding would happen in Onitsha, a close place so that her friends would go with her. But because it was in Lagos, she went with only 3 of her friends and her 5 children. Her children weren't only happy for the wedding, they were happy that they were visiting Lagos. The last-born said to her mother that she won't come back to Onitsha after the wedding. She would stay with her sister to nurse her children. Her mother agreed, so while going, the girl told some of her friends that they won't see her again. Cindy's mother, 3 of her friends, and her 4 children were conveyed to the wedding hall by a taxi driver. Kemi made sure she found a good driver for the job. As they approached the gate, one of the security guards stared at them mischievously. People passed the gate with their passed cards. Kemi forgot to give Cindy's mother any card. Cindy's mother joyfully threw her left leg to enter the gate, but her happiness disappeared when the huge security guard pushed her back. Who are you, and what exactly are you doing here? I should be asking you, what are you doing here? My daughter is the bride, so get out, let me pass. Madam, you are not going anywhere. Are you mad? The bride's parents are inside and you are here. Oga, get out, let's pass. What did you say? The guard asked. What did you hear? Cindy's mother tried to go again and again. The man pushed her back. It was then that she knew the man was not playing with her. Her friends and children stare agape. Could it be that the taxi driver made a mistake? No, Cindy's pictures were there in front of the gate. Kemi saw what was happening outside the gate. She went inside and informed her friend. Cindy came out immediately. Her siblings tried to hug her, but she pushed them aside, as if they were trash. They were all bewildered. She didn't look at her mother. This poor woman said that she is your mother, the guard said, pointing his middle finger at Cindy's mother. Ikaide, tell this fool that I am your mother, that you sucked my 2 pieces of bread. Excuse you, Agnes, Cindy snarled. My name is Cindy, not Ikite, or what you called. Her outburst surprised her mother. Her friends were all puzzled, their eyes widened. Ikaide, what did you just say? Kemi felt like crying, and at that moment she wished the woman had not come. She wished she didn't persuade her friend to invite her family. The embarrassment was big. Cindy turned to the guards. She is not my mother, but my nanny. That is why she referred to me as her child. Let them in. I am the one who invented her and her children. Cindy's immediate younger sister felt like the ground should open and swallow her. She wanted to talk, but her mouth was unable to produce sounds. She watched her mother as tears rolled down her cheeks. How could she do something like that to them, after all that they had been doing for her? Cindy and Kemi lead them inside the wedding hall. They marveled at the decorations on the hall, but they couldn't smile. Their joy had been murdered outside the gate. As newlyweds, Cindy moved in with Daniel. She posted photos and videos online. They received messages of congratulations, comments from followers envious of their perfect life together. The man Daniel introduced to Cindy as his from the US had refused going back. Not just that, he had also taken the master's bedroom. This act infuriated Cindy so much. How could you come to someone's house and act as if it was your own? She complained to Daniel. Daniel calmed her down. A pregnant woman shouldn't be angry, you know, Daniel remarked. 2 months had passed yet that intruder refused going back to US, or better still, look for his own house. So Cindy began to show him attitude. She stopped giving him food. Her husband scolded her, but she continued. She stopped doing many things. Sweeping the flat became hard for her. One evening, they were in the sitting room watching television when Daniel told Cindy to bring food for him. Cindy angrily turned and said to the man, "Go into the kitchen and bring food for my husband. You have to be useful in this house or you go back to your house." "What?" Daniel said, placing his 2 palms over his head. "Yes, now. He can't be here eating food all the time without doing any. Will you shut that mouth before I forget that you are pregnant and do it for you? Do you know who you are talking to?" "Shh. This girl has killed me." Cindy had never seen that part of Daniel. She stared at Daniel as his 2 knees went on the floor, his 2 palms raised up intertwined. "Daniel, what's wrong with you?" Cindy asked with a puzzled expression. "Shut up your mouth. Can you see the way you are talking to my boss?" "Your boss?" Cindy retorted, her eyes widened in shock. "Yes, my boss. He is the owner of this apartment. He owns everything." The man laughed and clapped his hands twice. "Is that why you've been treating me anyhow? Because you think I am nobody? Well, I think I have endured enough. You two can look for another place." Cindy felt the floor collapsing beneath her foot. Everything in the room began to spin around. All became double, blurred. When she couldn't take it any longer, she sank on the couch. Her stomach nearly touched her breast. She placed her 2 hands over her head, trying to stifle her tears. Daniel turned to Cindy. "Stop crying. Let's go to your house. Everything will be fine. I will explain when we get home." "Home? Which home?" Cindy questioned mockingly. "Your house, of course. Is your house also not mine? I will sort out things before next month." "Daniel, there's no home. We are both the same. That house belongs to my friend." Daniel stopped dead. It was what it is. Try to sieve everything on the internet before consuming them. Do not allow social media life to fool you. You are more than enough. Your dedication, courage, and resilience are all that matters. Please don't forget to react, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Yours Exotic Girl.